Flavour.
This is Cambridge Radio.
Hello, mate.
How are you doing?
I'm alright, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was Christmas I was last here.
Was it Christmas?
Yeah.
We're feeling festive.
There's lots of good food here.
You've got jams and pickles and preserves and meats and beer and all kinds of things.
Oh yeah, I'm going to have a feast now.
God, a la Buddha bless Mill Road. Mill Road is awesome.
You could taste chocolate forever, like really good chocolate.
Yeah, it's pretty wonderful.
Gingerbread men of all shapes and sizes.
Whoa, that's fizzy. Yeah, that takes your head off.
And the food is great, and the wine is obviously fantastic.
Doesn't that look lovely?
We had music all day. I did pancakes all day.
Holly, tiny robins.
At the end of the night, we all eat together with the staff.
I love this place. It's unique in Cambridge.
You've got people and you've got food, and that's all you need, and conversation springs forth.
Good afternoon and welcome to Flavour on Cambridge Radio, and it's our last programme before Christmas. I'm Matt Bentman, live in the studio with Alan Alder. Sue Bailey is away, but here is a roundup of what we've got for you today.
It's a celebratory sort of programme today. We're looking forward to Christmas and its foods. We've a celebration of last weekend's Mill Road Winter Fair, and we're also celebrating the 30th anniversary of one of Cambridge's foremost chefs. And how can we not talk about the MBE just received by one of Cambridge's foremost food writers? More on those stories coming up.
And amongst the celebrations, we'll have our regular features too. Free food in Cambridge, local food and drink news, social media updates, and at the end of the programme, our jobs roundup.
But first, Mark Poynton. It's 30 years this month since Mark started working in restaurants. A journey that's led to two of his restaurants being awarded Michelin stars, but which has also involved working on TV, including in the Great British Chefs TV series, working in India on a British government-backed initiative, working with college students, providing home-delivered meals during the COVID lockdowns, and writing a book. But how did it all start? That's a question I asked Mark in 2020. How did you get into chefing in the first place?
I was a really bad academic. Couldn't be bothered going to school at all because it was just boring and mundane. And I played football, got injured quite badly, started going off the rails a little bit. Not doing anything illegal, but going off the rails a little bit, drinking underage and stuff like that. I needed to support my lifestyle. My friend's mum was a head housekeeper in a hotel. And she said, well, I'll get you a job for Christmas if you want. Come be a waiter. Cash in hand, get paid every week. So I did that, earning loads of money, more money than I could spend because I was working loads of hours. And saw what the chefs were doing. I thought, that looks interesting. And that looks like fun more than anything. Because I never had the mindset that work could be fun. So I said to the chef, any chance I can come on board? He thought about it for 6 months and he said, yeah, you can start as an apprentice.
How old were you at this time?
I was just turned 16.
Right.
And he said, yeah, start as an apprentice. So I did. I started on £75 a week. Back whenever that was, 1996. Went off from there, stayed in that hotel for 2 years. The chef then moved to just outside Manchester. Followed him. I was the only chef he took. He said, I really like your attitude, come with me. So I followed him there. Spent 3 years with him there, and then went to the local Michelin star restaurant, tried to get a job. He said, no, you're not good enough, which was a bit of a kick in the teeth at the time, but I said to him, well, can I come back and help out on my days off? And he said, yeah, no problem. So I got every Wednesday, Thursday off, and went and washed dishes every Wednesday, Thursday for 6 months. And when the chef had left that he'd employed instead of me, he said, right, you can have his job. And that was that. That's how it started, back all those years ago.
Yeah, crikey. And I was wondering whether you feel you're still learning. I mean, I know that you're quite unusual in that you engage with your customers a lot. I know it's one of the things that you're doing at the cookery school now. I mean, no, do you hear anything that's useful?
No, of course, yeah. Not necessarily from customers, so to speak, but from like-minded chefs, and read a lot of cookery books. And now, obviously, with social media, you see lots of things that you wouldn't have done before. So, yeah, still learning all the time and still trying to find new techniques of doing things and better ways of doing things. Not quicker, but better ways of using produce and better suppliers. And so I'd say I'm learning something, at least one thing every day still. At nearly 40 years old, I'm still learning things.
And what sort of cookery writers do you like?
My peers, really. People like Nathan Outlaw. Daniel Clifford's book's fantastic.
And you get very good mention in this as well.
I do. I've not got a copy, but I've seen it. If he wants to give me a copy, Daniel. Just all those like-minded chefs that are at the top of their game. I think they're the real ones. And there's a book coming out by a chef called J.P. McMahon, an Irish guy over in Galway. He's bringing a cookbook out soon, which I'm really looking forward to. Right.
Yeah. And where do you like eating? Or don't you do much eating out?
No, I do. Restaurant 22, Vanderlyle. It sounds like I'm just naming all the local names, but yeah, all those places. A wide variety, really. Wide variety. And curries as well. I actually quite like curries. Prana on Mill Road and Montaz in Newmarket are my favourites.
So Mark began at the Queen Hotel in Chester and then moved to the Juniper restaurant in Altrincham and then spent 7 years with Daniel Clifford at Midsummer House here in Cambridge. In 2009, Mark took on Alimentum in Hills Road and gained a Michelin star and 3 AA rosettes. And then, in 2018, Mark left Alimentum. And I asked him how, having worked so intensively for so long, how it felt to stop. Being a chef is a very intense experience, and you've had that intensity, particularly working at a place with the reputation that Alimentum had and Midsummer House before then. What's it like when you stop?
It's hard. You like to think you're going to lay in bed till 10 o'clock in the morning, but you don't. You still wake up at the same time, and you're still looking things to do all the time because your mind's so active and your body needs to be active. And you just have to try and keep as much normal routine as possible, and that's what I've tried to do, and submerge myself into work in other ways than just getting up and going to the restaurant, and that's been a good part of it.
One of Mark's more unusual gigs was working in Indian cities. One of the things I noticed that you'd done was you did some cooking in India, and I was wondering what that was like.
Yeah, so it's the 5th time I've been to India. It's with the British government, so to speak. Taste of Britain Curry Festival, it's called. Travel all over India. I've been to Calcutta, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai and Chandigarh. Basically go there and showcase British food to the Indians. Make Britain Great Again, it's called, that campaign. Take over a hotel, 5-star hotel's restaurant, and cook a tasty menu for 5, 6, 7 nights.
A tasty British-style menu?
Yeah.
So what is it, meat and 2 veg or fish fingers? Or
No, it's very much in the style that I've always cooked in. So, it's that, for not wanting to use the word fine dining food, which is quite interesting for the Indians because a lot of them are vegetarians and they think British food is bland because it's not spicy. Yeah, so it's quite educational for them to learn that food doesn't have to be spicy to be flavoursome.
Yes, I'm reminded of the Kumars at number 42 or whatever it was.
I don't think you can remind me of that so much, but
Were you working with Indian chefs or?
Yes, so Indian chefs and Bangladeshi chefs. It's an eye-opener. 5-star hotels in that part of the world are not like 5-star hotels in London.
And is the culture different? I mean, are chefs, do they work in the same way as they do here? Do people get shouted at?
They're very much like it was in hospitality in the 80s and 90s. So when you see like the Marco Pierre Whites and Gordon Ramsays, and it's very shouty sort of atmospheres, it's like that a lot. And the chefs work very hard. They all work 6 days a week. They all work from 7 o'clock in the morning till midnight.
And probably don't get paid very much.
No, I'd say the average chef, not a head chef or executive chef, but just a normal line chef, gets probably the equivalent of about £200 a month. Totally different world.
Nowadays, Mark is known for his work at Caister Hall near Norwich, where he has been awarded a Michelin star again, and also at the Ancient Shepherds in Fen Ditton, which received a glowing review in the Observer newspaper, and where a tasting menu of imagination and quality comes at a very reasonable price. So, congratulations, Mark, on your 30 years, and we look forward to you continuing your adventures in cuisine.
I'm free. I'm free.
Now details of free food available in and around Cambridge, and the information about what's available and where to get it comes from the Olio app, and that exists so that people's or businesses' surplus food doesn't go to waste.
That's right, and today's look at Olio for Cambridge shows us that Olivia, just off St Barnabas Road, is giving away, and this is a first as far as I know on Olio, bubblegum. Yeah, it's in a cotton tie-up bag with string at the top. It's bubblegum. I suppose it doesn't count as food because you don't eat it and there's no nutritional value to it, but there's no value in celery either, unless that has been debunked, that old saying about how it takes more energy to eat celery than it gives. Anyway, that's bubblegum because it's slim pickings today. But next up is Claire B. on Gilbert Road, who has 3 white batons, 3 Kingsmill loaves and a thick white toasted loaf, all saved from Sainsbury's. Emily is in Warwick Road and has 2 bags of chocolate powder available. Suzanne on Tennyson Road has a jar of organic barley malt extract to offer. And finally, here's Emily again, back in Warwick Road, in the non-food category because she's got a little tub each of edible coloured confetti and rainbow star sprinkles, which I suppose could add a vaguely Christmassy motif to whatever you're baking today. But that is our quick look at what's available on the Olio app.
Right, you're going to head out for the bubblegum map?
Of course I will.
There's another free app called Too Good To Go, which has unsold food from restaurants and shops, often at less than half price. And rather than specifying each leftover item, because they don't know what items are going to be left over at the beginning of the day, the surplus food is simply packaged as a magic bag, ready for you to take home, instead of it being binned at the end of the day's trading. And it's used by independents and big companies too.
Now, there are lots of facets of the food scene in Cambridge and South Cambridgeshire that we're all proud of, whether it's the restaurants and their staff, the specialist food shops, the coffee shops, the roasteries, the bars, the food vans, the farmers and smallholders, the bloggers, the market stalls, the bakery and cookery schools. But there is also the food writers, such as Tim Hayward, Alex Rushmer, Alex Creppy, Alice Ryan, and also Bee Wilson, or Kitchen Bee, as she's known on social media.
And the big news is that Bee has been nationally recognised. She was given an MBE this week, and what a well-deserved award it is. Her writing is not only about food, it's very much about people too, and the mix extends to the work she's done with primary-age school children on their relationship with food. Her work is the antithesis of the corporate world. Sue Bailey spoke to Bee about why she became a food writer and why food is such a rich subject to write about.
But I first went into food writing in a way it was a kind of accident because I had a first career in Cambridge as an academic. My subject was history, but it wasn't food history. It was nothing to do with food, and food was my hobby on the side. And then it was kind of a practical, pragmatic thing that my ex-husband was an academic, and I just thought I had my first child quite young, and bedtime and bath time clashed with the time that I would be at seminars if I was an academic. Whereas if I was a food writer, I'd begun doing little bits of food writing on the side. I wrote a column for the New Statesman magazine for years. And I just thought, well, this is just nice because I can slot it in around the baby. Whereas an academic career, people manage, but it's that much harder, particularly if your partner is also an academic because he would be out at 5 o'clock at the seminars. Someone needed to be there. So I kind of fell into food writing, but then I'd meet people at parties and I'd say, I'm a food writer, and they say, oh, do you do recipes or restaurants? And I'd always say, well, neither actually. And then they look completely blank because they think, what is left if it isn't recipes or restaurants? And I suppose I just finally thought, no, I'm going to do some recipes. And it's been eye-opening. I mean, for years, absolutely, I don't even know, can't think of a word of approbation strong enough for how I feel about my favourite food writers, people like Nigella and Diana Henry and Mira Soda. They become part of your life, and I adore what they do. But having now done it myself, Claudia Roden, sorry, I can't believe I didn't mention her, I have such newfound respect because I now see that to write a recipe that's even halfway going to work for as many people as possible, it's such a juggling act because you're constantly trying to second guess what someone has in their kitchen, and to have your words on a page interpreted into someone's physical actions is a very unusual kind of writing. And none of my other writing has fitted into that category. And to me, food, what's so wonderful about food is it's a lens through which you can examine any subject. And so none of them have been none of them are academic books. They're all aimed at a general reader. And each of them, I think I was writing to answer questions that I had myself. So with First Bite, I wanted to partly unravel. I have 3 kids and I wanted to think, why do they all eat in such different ways when I've fed them in the same way and offered them apparently the same food, and yet my youngest was such a selective and unhappy eater for a while, and then thankfully, to my enormous gratitude, he's not anymore. And eats almost everything except for mushrooms and chilies, but that's fine. He's allowed not to like those. So that one came out of that. And then the next one, The Way We Eat Now, and I wouldn't say it exactly is nutrition. It was just, I kept just looking at our food culture and thinking, this is very, very curious. There are lots of things going on in the world all at once, some of which seem to be fantastic, such as the interchange of global flavours on a scale that's never been seen before. The fact that so many British people now think that Korean kimchi is a comfort food, whereas if you said to our grandparents' generation, would you like to eat some fermented cabbage from Asia, they probably would have recoiled, and there might have been an edge of xenophobia to that.
True.
And it strikes me that there are these wonderful trends of people opening their hearts and mouths to different flavours. And then on the other hand, food, which was always the thing that's meant to keep us alive, is now responsible for more disease in the world than tobacco or alcohol in the form of ultra-processed food. So I kind of, but they all come out of a personal interest.
So many congratulations to B. Wilson, MBE. What an accolade.
On to our first news break now for Saturday, December the 13th, here on Cambridge Radio, starting with some Cambridge Christmas specials. We start with Pages in Trumpington Street. They have gingerbread croissants on sale. Finn Boys hampers, designed to feed 4, are available for collection on the 23rd of December up to 5 p.m, and the deadline for orders is midday on the 18th of December. Also available are oysters and the magnificent sea trout Wellington. Orris & Son has a chimichurri-style hot sauce called Red Mosquito, designed to cut through your food and wake everything up. The bird, the roasted vegetables, the potatoes, the sandwiches, the leftovers. Scott's All Day has a Culinaris Christmas pizza. Prana has free onion bhajis with every collection order between 5 and 7 p.m. Marvin's in Green Street has, as its monthly special, a sandwich featuring roast turkey and gravy, crisp roast potatoes, sage and onion stuffing, braised red cabbage, and cranberry sauce. I think the idea is you just don't even bother with the bread itself. Just put it on a plate.
I don't know how you'd eat it. It does sound good, though. Today and next Saturday, Flourish in Hildesheim is open until 8 p.m. for late-night shopping, and also for cakes from the Linton Kitchen, mulled wine and beer by the glass, and a Hops and Tails special evening menu, which includes a Christmas tree burger with Fraser fir buttermilk chicken, tangy pickles and Flourish hot sauce. And there's also a parsnip smørrebrød, a vegan alternative with toasted focaccia parred with parsnip textures, pickled shallot, nutmeg ketchup and fragrant yarrow.
At Flux in Eltersley Avenue on Monday, Brad from Edinburgh's Obadiah Coffee Roasters will be there, and there's an opportunity to taste 3 of their limited edition Christmas coffees on pour-over, with one a future espresso at Flux.
A plea from Jack of Jack's Gelato. He donates a couple of hundred ice creams to the cancer ward at Addenbrooke's Hospital every week, but the logistics of getting them there and put into storage are difficult, and it does mean that he can't do it consistently. What he would like is to be able to organise storage there so somebody could do a pickup once a month. He can supply the freezer. However, getting it sorted out despite his contacting various departments at Addenbrooke's has not brought about a solution, and he wonders if anybody listening can help find somewhere to put it on the site. If you can sort it out, email him, jack@jacksgelato.com.
Market news, and the next Hawkston Market is a Christmas market, of course, and it's on the 21st of December from 10 till 1:30. That's at the Hawkston Centre in Church Road. Other markets coming up include Caxton on the 14th of December and Histon on the 20th. And at the last two, Adi from Sweet Pea Market Garden will be there with fresh produce. And you might also want to ask her about her Veg Box subscription, which could make a pretty good Christmas present. That's the news for now. More later.
There's a bench on Mill Road Bridge with a plaque commemorating Susie Oakes. Susie was a founding figure behind the Mill Road Winter Fair because she loved the street and its culture, brought about by its mix of cultures, and she was a food enthusiast.
All these people have come in from different cultures, the whole mile of Mill Road on both sides of the bridge, and they've set up stores really to deal with their own communities, their own cultures, but then realised that other people are interested. And the thing about independent traders as opposed to chains is that there's then this extraordinary novelty and originality about how goods are produced and sold to the public. And we get advice about how to cook ingredients we may never have seen before. It's really tremendous.
20 years of the Mill Road Winter Fair.
2005 to 2025.
That's Jonathan Goodacre, chair of the committee and planning group for Mill Road Winter Fair.
Still retains its original characteristics, original values, I would say, yeah.
And yeah, OK, there were a few cancellations in there because of the pandemic.
And then last year, of course, we had Storm Dara.
Good morning. As Storm Dara hits, many of us will have a wet and very windy day. And in some places, those winds are dangerous.
But yes, I've been to them all, in one way or another.
No storm this year, though. The Winter Fair was back on form.
We suffer for our art. Thank you very much for joining us on this rather cold day.
So when I'm abroad and I tell people that I come from Cambridge, they think, oh yeah, the university. And then I say, no, I live on this amazing road called Mill Road. And we have this winter fair every year. It's really important that Mill Road Winter Fair celebrates everyone in the community, and it's always done that. It shows people are very happy to come together and do something for the good of all. They're absolutely part of what the fair's about.
The first one was in December 2005. We had about 8,000 people who came to visit, and we have a very small budget for what is quite a large event because we run it the whole mile of Mill Road. The idea of the Winter Fair is for everyone in Mill Road to be able to demonstrate what it is they do so that restaurateurs and cafes will offer foodstuffs that are interesting and get people in to see what they do generally.
It was originally Susie Oak's big idea with the fair was that she was very much a food person. She was very keen early on that we had a food fair. So we had things in Gwynedd Street car park. And of course, many of the traders on Mill Road themselves, they are restaurants, they're cafes, bars, they will all be doing their own things as well. So it's a fantastic food fest.
The basic desire is for people to come from all over Cambridge and the Shire, if possible, to see the sorts of things that are available readily in Mill Road.
And that means a lot of food served from a lot of stalls. Things like
curried fish balls with radish,
milled wine, hot chocolate and mince pies,
Turkish pastry filled with spinach and feta,
Kavala biscuits,
German sausages,
hot chocolate and honey,
börek and sausage roll and some Turkish baklava and chocolate cake.
Then we have banana bread, blueberry bread and orange, lemon and lime bread.
Masala di, masala di, masala di.
Load enough.
We've got some sage and onion sausage rolls and some pints and some mulled wine.
And you guys are?
Burren, part of Steak and Honour.
I always want to make sure I don't mispronounce Burren. Sometimes I say Buren.
We don't really know, to be honest. Burren. Whatever you fancy, really.
Homemade Saint Sebastian cheesecake,
eclairs, milk cake, brownie, baklava, gözlemes, pastries and freshly made gâteaux.
Carrot and orange soup.
Garlic parmesan loaded fries, chicken loaded fries, mac and cheese loaded fries.
Chicken, coconut rice with the sambal. So good, so good.
People who live east of the railway bridge say they never ever have to go to Cambridge because everything is down Mill Road. Pubs, shops, curiosity shops, banks, anything you need is all down Mill Road.
People forget this. They seem to think it kind of happens automatically. It doesn't happen automatically. There's a group of very dedicated, committed volunteers that make it happen. We work pretty much all year. We can't forget the importance of people taking time out, unpaid time to do these things. We have over 100 volunteers loving it and making it what it is.
Face for radio, yeah, exactly. Hi, we sell roast pork with stuffing and applesauce or handmade pork sausages and mulled wine.
Plenty of mulled wine.
Plenty of mulled wine, yes, definitely.
So we're doing Persian soup today called ash rashti, and it's a traditional hearty winter soup topped with mint oil, garlic, onions and cash, which is a traditional way, and a nice bit of flatbread.
beef balls with vermicelli noodles.
It's the first time I've seen a sales and lettings company offering food. I guess you're not sales and lettings, right?
No. We've made all this in a restaurant nearby, and then they very kindly let us have our stall here. Mainly it's for the kids so they can experience what a food stall's like, because this is not what we do on a daily basis.
That's a cool idea.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lovely, thank you very much.
Thank you, have a good day.
If you go down Mill Road on a Friday evening, you could choose 15, 20 different places to eat out of different sorts of cuisine. You could have fish and chips, pizza, something from a different country. You could just sit down and have a nice cup of coffee if you want.
1 p.m. The crowds are out in force. Long queues spilling out of all the cafes.
Chicken biryani, lamb biryani, vegetable biryani, only for £3.
Algerian cakes here, all made with almond. This is like a frangipan with orange blossom water to flavour.
Samosas. Samosa has been the most popular one. And tea, keeping everyone warm.
Well, we're selling cider made in the Duxford Scrumpy Company.
Even more mulled wine.
We got mulled wine too.
We've got mulled wine 3.
We got mulled wine 4. Homemade cookies for sale here. Secret Italian recipe.
And what we have is a sort of surrogate family and neighbourhood in Mill Road, which is very supportive. A sort of extended family.
This is a big biscuit tin of honeycomb.
That's a multifloral, and that one comes from one single flower, which is hickory flower. And in Turkey, we use this hickory flower honey for medicine. So that's the best medicine you can have.
You can smell this wine from here to the bridge, and I know because I buzz every time because you can smell it. It's real.
I've got a homemade chili relish with Scotch bonnet, Thai chilies, jalapenos, and very high quality Italian olive oil.
This one here is traditionally eaten in Ramadan. It's very sweet. It's a semolina cake. So semolina ground almond, and then finished with an orange blossom syrup.
Everything's plant-based, lots of soups, vegan pizza, mushroom Wellington, and some sweet treats over there, which are all also plant-based.
Mixed nuts wrapped in pastry dipped in a cinnamon syrup and honey, olive and coriander buns, minced pork and onions wrapped in bulgur wheat.
I would personally love to have the Mill Road Winter Fair go right down to what I would think of as the end, basically down to Brooks Road, because in a way that is Mill Road. And if we could do that and have the parade going from there to the end, that would be amazing.
Thank you so much, Mill Road Winter Fair. In the light waves, we hope you have a wonderful day.
Eat your way around the world in one street. That was part of Susie Oakes' idea, to show what she saw and what she loved in Mill Road, to dedicate so much of her time and effort to it. Susie passed away in 2011, and this feature was made using clips from an interview with Susie from Flavour's first episode back in 2007. I hope she would have liked the scene down Mill Road last Saturday, living up to her vision.
Coming up on Flavour, ideas for Christmas eating, more food news, an update from social media, a look at today's Feast magazine if we've got time, I don't think we have, and our jobs roundup, and that's all after the break, so see you in 2 minutes. Don't go away.
Cambridge Radio.
Sundays on Cambridge Radio, we take you closer to Polish culture, meeting those who are contributing to society in Poland and around Cambridge.
I was here for the first time in 2017 as a visiting scholar, and I made contacts with the Italian department as an Italianist, and then I came back. I won a project financed by the British Academy.
In karate, you always develop yourself. Unlike any professional extreme sport where you reach your peak, in karate it doesn't happen.
Polish Waves, online whenever you want, and Sundays at 5 on Cambridge Radio.
The Rotary Club of Cambridge's annual charity Christmas concert is back, and this year we're raising money for 4 Cambridge-based charities: Cambridge Aid, Cambridge Deaf Association, Centre 33 and Rowan Humberstone. We'll have 2 concerts for you at West Road Concert Hall on Monday the 15th of December at 5 p.m. and 7:15 p.m. As usual, we'll be featuring performances by 10 local schools, including 2 super choirs. Tickets are £12 for adults, £5 for children under 18, and can be purchased through Eventbrite. Get in the festive spirit with the Rotary Club of Cambridge's annual Christmas concert. Find out more at cambridgerotary.org.uk.
This Christmas, set sail for adventure as Dick Whittington arrives in Saffron Walden. Expect fun, laughter and festive magic when pantomime returns to the stunning Saffron Hall.
It's behind you.
Featuring spectacular sets, dazzling costumes, show-stopping live music and a cat called Tommy. It's the perfect show for the whole family.
Oh no it isn't.
Oh, yes, it is. Dick Whittington at Saffron Hall from the 21st to the 29th of December. Book your tickets now at saffronhall.com.
Cambridge Radio.
Welcome back to Flavour, and we've got some more news now. At Amelie in Ben's Yard near Ely on the 22nd of December, there is a Santa's workshop. Now, this is ideal for families and children aged 3 to 12. There will be seasonal activities for the children, guided by a team of helpers, including a festive glitter bar, creative craft stations, and making reindeer food with festive refreshments available too. There will also be a children's breakfast included in the ticket, and the restaurant will be open for parents. The menu includes scallop and fruit pig black pudding, roast turkey with the usual accompaniments, flammcouche with cranberry and brie, and there'll be a few surprises too. This event runs from 9 till 1 p.m, and for children with additional needs there is a dedicated special educational needs session from 2 to 3 p.m, which ensures a calm and inclusive experience. All booking information can be found on the Ben's Yard website.
Looking ahead, Mark Poynton at Caister Hall is taking bookings for Valentine's with the special 8-course tasting menu, which is available from the 11th to the 14th of February.
In Congratulations Corner today, alongside the ubiquitous Mark Poynton and B. Wilson, are Sam Carter and Alex Olivier from Margaret's in Chesterton Road. It's in the November update to the Michelin Guide. The guide says that it has the feel of an upmarket bistro, pairing simplicity with elegance in its design. The cooking reflects the seasons with great skill, mining wholly satisfying flavours from the ingredients in dishes that have the confidence not to overcomplicate things. So, well done to Sam and Alex.
And also in Congratulations Corner today is the Cambridge Oven on Hills Road, which has been judged regional winner for the East of England in the Members of Parliament Choice Award for Food and Drink Manufacturer. The final, which is in the House of Commons, takes place in January.
The Burley Arms in Newmarket Road has been judged to be one of the country's top 100 gastropubs by Estrella Dam. Midsummer House is in the top 500 best restaurants in the world by La Liste.
And Page's Coffee House in Trumpington Street had a nice mention in The Times, whose literary editor was visiting Cambridge and said, "For coffee, Page's is arguably the most literary destination, a charming yet relatively new cafe." It opened in 2023 with overhead lampshades that look like open books. Order the carrot cake and a latte and settle in for the long haul.
The Free Press in Prospect Row is one of only 35 UK pubs listed in the Guinness Harp Guide to Pubs, serving the best Guinness. So, many congratulations to them all.
So finally, Vanderlyle Restaurant, which is named after a song by a band from New York called The National, of whom Alex Rushmer, chef, is a great fan, turned up for a meal at Vanderlyle. And so there's some pictures of Alex with Matt Berninger on Instagram. I mean, what a fantastic thing that must have been.
Lovely.
He did look very pleased. Right, well, we've talked a lot about food so far today, but we haven't mentioned cooking for Christmas. So let's hit the hob right now. Here's local chef Rosie Sykes with ideas for the stuffing.
The other thing that I tend to do for Christmas is a really nice stuffing made with chestnuts and some dried fruit. I do it a bit sort of Middle Eastern with breadcrumbs, but with figs, red onions, a load of lemon zest and some chopped up chestnuts and breadcrumbs. And again, I think all those nice sort of soft Christmassy spices work really well, and a bit of garlic add a different dimension.
And Rosie has ideas for cranberry sauce too.
When I make my cranberry sauce, which I think is really, really nice with a goose or a duck or a turkey, because it adds a nice bit of acidity and another sort of dimension, especially with all the other kind of fatty things, I tend to make it a bit like applesauce, then put cranberries in towards the end. Basically stew some lovely cooking apples with some sage, a tiny bit of sugar, but I tend to use apple juice, some butter so you get this lovely smoothness, then throw in the cranberries at the end and you'll have a really nice light sauce that just goes really well with the meat of choice and with the ham, actually, if you have ham.
And we'll have some more Christmas cooking tips in a few minutes.
Wine, wine, wine. Drink that wine.
first, there is Supercharge, taking us into our festive wine news. And today, the 13th of December, there is a Christmas open day at Gutter and Stars in French's Road. That's until 5 p.m, where you will be able to taste wines alongside some matched cheeses from the Cambridge Cheese Company and purchase some wines to take home. Entry is free, no need to book.
Dovecot Cellar at Burwash Manor is open on Tuesdays in December and has several special offers up to Christmas Eve. 10% off when you spend more than £35. Buy any 5 bottles and get 50% off your 6th, or buy any 12 bottles and get your 13th bottle free.
Cambridge Wine Merchants has a Christmas Classics case with a 15% saving. It's available from their shops or online, where the last date for Christmas orders is noon on December the 19th. And Thorned Wines has Christmas wine selections available too.
And looking ahead, King Street Cellars' next book and wine club is on the 8th of January, when the book will be The Magic Toy Shop by Angela Carter. Tickets are available now. And we've got some Christmas wine suggestions coming up soon, so stay tuned.
So, what are you having for Christmas dinner? We asked a few locals.
Poulet fusée, it's my favourite.
I'll be having beef and cockerel for Christmas dinner. None of us like turkey, and a chicken isn't big enough, so a cockerel goes down quite well. It's a little bit richer than chicken, but like I said, it's a bigger bird.
For my Christmas dinner, I normally have pork, turkey, homemade sausage meat stuffing, parsnips, and all the veg, and then obviously in the morning, the next day on Boxing Day, some bob and squeak.
So it's like the traditional in Lithuania to have like 12 dishes with different salads, with the fish one, with the bread, some drinks as well. So basically before the Christmas, let's say 1 or 2 days, we don't eat the meat. And when is the Christmas coming, so we're allowed to meet. Yeah.
It will be something white and fizzy for Christmas dinner and red in the evening and afternoon. Yeah.
We're going to my parents and they're doing turkey, roast potatoes, red cabbage, pigs in blankets, stuffing, the classics, and bread sauce, cranberry sauce, Brussels sprouts.
For a Christmas dinner we serve as a Polish tradition fish carp.
I'm from Venezuela. For the Christmas we made traditional pork with raisins, wine, and it's so good. And we made the bread with jam, with raisins. Our food is really, really tasty because we made with exciting ingredients like coriander, onion, like garlic.
The traditional turkey, sprouts and roast potatoes, hopefully, yeah. Everybody seems to buy the traditional things even if they don't like them, which is bizarre. I have people come up here and say, we'll have some sprouts. We don't like them, but we'll have some because it's traditional.
I'm from Taiwan, and in my countries we don't celebrate Christmas. So normally we just like having dinner as usual.
We are going to have turkey, lots of mezes with our family all together.
Our culture is influenced by Western countries a lot. So nowadays in Taiwan, we will have a lot of Christmas stuff like decorations. People will hang out together, but it's still not like a big festivals during a whole year.
We're Venezuelan of origin, so for Christmas we have pretty unconventional dishes. We have hallacas, which is like I don't know how to describe it, but they're nice. And we also have ham bread, which is like a very nice pastry. And then now that my sister and I have been in England for so long, we combine it with an English breakfast and have a weird amalgamation of it, yeah.
Hiya, good afternoon. My name is John. I'm from Romania. And for Christmas dinner, I have like sarmale. It's like pork beans with rice and cabbage. The cabbage, before to do that, it needs to stay on water and the salt for a couple of months. And can put in the oven for 2 hours. And after with milk cream on top, it's absolutely delicious. Definitely.
We'll get some more Christmas dinner ideas from Rosie Sykes shortly, but before we do, let's hear from our very own Sue Bailey about how to avoid a last-minute rush in the kitchen on Christmas Day.
If you can prep in advance, it's really quite handy. I've done my red cabbage already. It's in the freezer.
But what about things like fresh vegetables, carrots and sprouts and parsnips and potatoes? I mean, can you do potatoes, peeling potatoes
Yes.
and carrots and
Yes,
sprouts.
you can
and what-
do
and
actually
can you do
an
that
awful lot
the
in
day
advance.
before.
Oh
or
yeah, you
even
can
before
certainly do
then?
it the day before, as long as you put your potatoes underwater. Because if you
Yeah, they
don't,
go
they'll go
brown
black.
and-
They'll
oh,
go
black,
they'll
yeah.
go black. Actually,
Yeah,
it's even
yeah.
worse. You don't have black Christmas
No,
potatoes.
you don't
You
really.
really don't. But I mean, if it's interesting because I actually tried out what I think might be one of my Christmas vegetables last night. We had some friends round, and I did this Hasselback butternut squash. So Hasselbacking is where you actually slice something very, very thinly. And I put some star anise in and some bay leaves, and then I put a lovely, very, very nice pomegranate molasses and some sugar and some mustard and a few other things. And it actually worked really well. I need to now realise that you need to put a little bit of foil underneath it so that the whole thing doesn't collapse too much. But it was great. So that was my pre-prep and pre-practice for Christmas.
Right.
So, yeah.
So there's lots of scope for doing things in advance. It doesn't all have to be done.
It does not have
on
to be
the day.
done. No, it doesn't. Thank goodness.
That's
Thank
great
goodness.
news.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
But we haven't mentioned Christmas puddings. So here's Rosie Sykes again.
I think less and less people actually, Alan, are going for a Christmas pudding. And I kind of get it. I mean, I like it because I'm a bit of a traditionalist, I think. But I only want a tiny mouthful. These days, I often do a steamed sponge, so much lighter, say with some quince or some pears. So pear and ginger, for example, is a lovely one. But I think often at the end of a Christmas meal, you're super full, aren't you? So perhaps a parfait, frozen parfait is a really nice thing. I make one which has meringue in it, actually, which is really lovely. So it's melted chocolate whipped up with cream and eggs and sugar to make a sort of really lovely light mousse. And then you sort of fold in boozy, say, rum-soaked raisins or prunes that you've soaked in Armagnac or something, fold some of them in, and then just buy meringues unless you want to make them, and break them up, put it all into a loaf tin and freeze it. And then you just slice that. And I often make like a little, say, coffee flavoured or rum flavoured little cream or custard to have with it. And it doesn't sound it, but it is actually a really lovely light pudding. And then I learnt a sort of similar one, which again is beautifully light, which uses amaretti biscuits. And I was taught that by this incredible chap in his 80s called Franco Terruccio, who used to have a restaurant in Wales called the Walnut Tree. And he made a dish called spumone, which is basically a bit like a kind of, you just whisk up eggs and sugar until they're really light and fluffy. And then you slowly add in the alcohol of your choice. So he uses amaretto because he then puts amaretti biscuits into it. Amaretto, but I have done it with lots of different alcohols, actually. And in fact, limoncello, which is one of those things that there aren't many other uses for, least of all drinking it. But actually in this, it's really, really delicious. And then you just pour it into individual glasses with some double cream whipped up and folded in at the end, into individual glasses. Crunch up some amaretto biscuits on top. Really lovely. Yeah, I'd say they're good. But then I do think another really nice thing is just a winter fruit salad. So we used to do one at the Carved Angel where you just puffed up dried fruit, like dried figs and pears and apples, or some fresh pear actually, and prunes, loads of cinnamon, and we puffed it all up in red wine and orange, almost like a mulled wine. And that is really a lovely light afterthought. I don't think that people eat puddings as much as they used to. Perhaps if you go out for Sunday lunch or you've got people round. But when I was a child, we ate a pudding nearly every night.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. It's very different now. So, and people maybe prefer a plate of cheese, which I totally get. I mean, I love to be able to do both, but that's decadent.
And are you a lover of the pudding, Matt?
As a child, no, but as a big child, yes. Especially for Christmas. I love hot, sweet, sticky Christmas puddings, cooled with cream, and it really satisfies my sweet tooth, and it's definitely has my dentist rubbing his hands together with glee. And there's music signalling time for news from social media, and a reminder, you can find Flavour on Instagram. We are at FlavorCam, and you can also contact us by email, flavour@cambridge.radio.
Yeah, outside Artisan Cheese Market at the Shelford Deli coming up on the 19th to the 24th of December. Felicity Cloak, this is in April 2026 at King's Place. Eating, Drinking and Thinking. She's doing a beginner's guide to professional food writing. The Artist in Chesterton Road is a place that you can hire event space for your December or January gathering. They can accommodate up to 50 people, so contact them. So that's the social media news.
Now, what wines to have with your Christmas dinner? That's the perennial question, and that's one that Alan asked Chong Chong Bo, ex-Amphora, what her thinking was. So let's start with the white wines.
I think white wines should also include sparkling wines. As a general rule, I think you can't go terribly wrong with sparkling wines. People may be familiar with my views on Prosecco, but let's say sparkling wines that are traditional method. So that includes Cava, which is superb value, but also, of course, Champagne, English sparkling, Cremant from France, and other more exotic examples. So sparkling wine tends to be forgiving in terms of wine pairings, so that's going to work with most things. In terms of still white wine, I would either go creamy or off-dry. So creamy and relatively neutral. So if you think of white wine grapes as on a spectrum from aromatic through to neutral, then on the neutral end of the spectrum you'd find grapes such as Chardonnay, which again is probably a classic pairing for Christmas. So Chardonnay is relatively low intensity fruit, but it has plenty of creamy characteristics, especially if it's been matured in oak, for instance. So a classic Chardonnay that's been matured in oak could be a Burgundy, especially a Burgundy from further south, some Macon. It could be a Puy Frisé, but then there's so many options beyond Burgundy to look at in terms of Chardonnay.
Because Burgundy, you pay a price, don't you?
You certainly do, because you're paying for the reputation as well as the wine itself. But you have lovely ripe Chardonnays from the South France, from Languedoc, for instance. Continuing the creamy theme, you've got Spain, so you've got White Rioja as a lovely example, which is made from Viura. You could look into the New World and have these lovely Argentine or Chilean Chardonnays, which are relatively undervalued. So for £16 you could get a beautiful organic Chardonnay, which in a blind tasting no one would guess that it was under £20. These wines are relatively undiscovered, which is why they're so well priced. Then in Eastern Europe there's Ferment. So Ferment, people are usually familiar with Ferment in the context of Tokai, which is a lusciously sweet wine that's been made from botrytized grapes. But you can get dry ferment, and a really good quality dry ferment that spent some time in oak, especially if it's a single vineyard one. I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation, but Mezes Mai is a large single vineyard in Hungary, in the Tokai region, that produces really beautiful dry ferment. Royal Tokai does one that's matured in oak, and I think that would be a superb pairing.
Or you could go for a red wine.
Classically, people would go for a Pinot Noir because it's relatively light in tannins and it's red fruited. I mean, if you're going cranberry sauce, then it works in theory. With turkey, with poultry that isn't game in general, you don't want to. If you're going to go red, you don't want a wine that's too heavy. So heaviness is in terms of the body and the fruit profile, but also in terms of the tannin. So that's why Pinot Noir works. As an alternative to Pinot Noir, you might go with Gamay, which is usually in the form of Beaujolais. It's also quite good value, so relative to Burgundies, again, let's say, being the classic Pinot Noir, it's good value. Then you might think about wines from the Loire Valley, which tend to be underrated. So Sancerre Rouge, for instance, everyone knows about Sancerre Blanc, but Sancerre Rouge is made of Pinot Noir. So again, that's a very good alternative to a Burgundy for a classic Pinot Noir. Then again, Loire wines, you could think about a Cabernet Franc with a bit of age. So a Chinon, for instance. could be a great option. So looking perhaps outside France, if you're thinking about Spain, then perhaps our Garnacha, which again is a red fruited wine that's not excessively tannic and very, very accessible. So a Garnacha from Spain could be a great wine.
And many thanks to wine specialist Chong Chong Bo. A final look now at what local Cambridge people will be eating this Christmas.
Fox in the snow, where do you go to find something you could eat?
A vegan Wellington with a mushroom, walnut and vegan sausage stuffing, some salad, roast vegetables and a vegan cheese board which I ordered from a local business. Yeah.
So we have some types of salads. One of them is olivier with potatoes and chicken and many other vegetables. That is a traditional Christmas and New Year salad. Also Russian dumplings, the best dumplings in the world. Russian pirashki, these are really nice pies filled with meat, vegetables and sweet pies as well. On New Year's and Christmas I would usually have caviar with bread and butter.
Caviar?
Yeah. Also we love in Eastern Europe honey cake. Honey cake, nice and soft and sweet.
I love to have a Christmas dinner.
What's your favourite thing about Christmas dinner?
I don't know.
Edit that one out. Very likely we will mix a combination of some vegetarian, a good mix of varieties. Professor Tim Spector's talked about food balancing, so you need a good variety of salads, combined herbs, nuts, and what we do is combine that with some bits of chicken, some small bits of organic chicken, combine the two together and come up with that for Christmas dinner. Thank you. Happy New Year.
We're having traditional goose, as we do every year. And then we've got my mother and father-in-law around, so we're having to cook a little bit of beef as well.
I'm from Hong Kong, so I will cook a traditional Hong Kong fusion. Maybe steam the meat, cooking rice, and then cooking the mushroom with the fish, steamed fish, like that.
So there's another dish very famous and it is difficult to make. It's Russian pork aspic холодец or student. Холодец is a delicacy of jellied meat dish. To cook it you need to prepare 1 day before and to keep it in the fridge so it becomes like a jelly that is delicious, one of the best Russian and Eastern European dish for Christmas and New Year.
So I'm going to the White Horse in Waterbeach for a Christmas dinner.
Okay, I think Mum's cooking roast beef with roasted vegetables and some gravy. That's all I think. And then we're going to have a nice Christmas pudding at the end for the dessert. Some chocolates and maybe a cheese board as well. Thank you.
And some Russian prяники. These are cookies. You can have them with a tea on a nice Christmas evening or New Year's. I could name more, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bless you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
You sweat a lot. О, салют, привет.
There's Green Onions taking us into our jobs roundup, and we start with Flourish Produce in Hildesheim. They have several vacancies currently. The details are on the Flourish Produce website, but briefly, they are a vacancy for a full-time grower with a focus in the summer on tomatoes and cucumbers. And you must have a valid driving licence too.
There's also a vacancy at Flourish for a grower with a focus on salads, and that's also a full-time position. There's a part-time vacancy for a flower grower, working on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and that's a physically demanding production role. There's a full job description for each of these jobs on the Flourish website, and applications with a covering letter should be emailed to the office at flourishproduce.co.uk. And there's also a job at front of house and barista team members required by Dulcedo Social in Eddington and Eclipse, their sister bakery, at a new site opening soon in St Ives. So there's details from Dulcedo's social media on that.
That takes us to the end of the programme for today. We're here on alternate Saturdays at 12 noon, and this programme will be repeated on Sunday at 1, Monday at 2, and Tuesday at 6 p.m. We're also available as a podcast from all the usual places, or you can just hit the on-demand button on the Cambridge Radio website.
Or even press it gently. But anyway, but that's all from us for today. After the news at 1, it's Gadget Guide, with Sue Thompson's selection coming up at 2. We'll be back on the 10th of January for our look back at 2025. But until then, from Matt and me, happy Christmas and see you next year. Bye.
Bye.